So we'll call the meeting to order, CDTA's Board of Directors meeting for May 27th. It's about 5:05. You had a chance to, we have a quorum. We have enough members here that are present. And we have the agenda that's been circulated. If there's no objections, we'll move on to approve the minutes of the prior meeting on April 29th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second, Dave.
All those in favor of the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
We'll move on. No recognitions again this month. We must be stacking up a pile of certificates and whatnot for a later meeting. Hopefully that'll be sometime soon. We'll move into the committee reports, and I'll lead off with the board operations committee that was held on May 13th, 9:15 a.m. Again, we did it via Microsoft Teams. We reviewed the committee agendas for the month of May, and there are several action items on today's board meeting. We continue to host these meetings via Microsoft Teams, and it's generally working pretty well. CDTA has started to draw cash from the CARES grant, and we were using the funds appropriately and anticipate that it will help us manage expenses and cash flow through the middle of the summer. We will provide more specific updates at the performance monitoring committee meetings. With respect to the strategic plan, the staff leadership team is meeting with Barbara Gannon next week to continue work by establishing a set of goals for each strategic pillar, and this will provide the framework for us to talk when we next meet with Barbara. We had Lisa Morello provide us with provide the committee with a glimpse of state funding issues and how this is tied into the federal stimulus funding discussions. The most pressing issue is the schedule for STOA payments. Lisa and her team will provide updates as developments occur. Carm provided us with an update on COVID-19 work. We continue to work on ways to keep employees and customers safe. At the same time, we are now shifting our attention to the phased reopening of all services. And this includes new expectations for maintenance, cleaning, social distancing. Our approach will be thoughtful, and it will align with guidance from the governor's office and the CDC. We'll also use industry best practices, and will be designed to thank customers and CDCA, so there will be more on this to follow. The next meeting of the Board Operations Committee is slated for Wednesday, June 10th at 9:15 a.m. again on Microsoft Teams. And that concludes my report. We'll next move into the next committee report, which is the Performance Monitoring Audit Committee. And Denise Figueroa will make that presentation.
Can you hear me, Jamie?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I think I found the setting that was wrong on my computer. A little less feedback here. Okay, so the Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee met on May 20th via Zoom or via Teams, sorry. Forgot what organization I'm working with here. The Audit Committee this is the first part of the agenda, and we're looking for approval of the fiscal year 2020 audit draft. Donna Gonzer and Seth Hennard from Lumsden and McCormick, CDTA's external auditors, presented the draft fiscal year 2020 year-end audit. We received a clean opinion with no findings or weaknesses. Lumsden reviewed their audit process, their audit approach, required communications, and the balance sheet. It was noted that $14.3 million of the CARES Act money was recorded as revenue for fiscal year 2020, and that our liability for post-employment benefits increased $15 million to $105 million on our balance sheet. So at this point, we need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2020 financial statements and compliance summary prepared by Lumsden and McCormick.
Can I get a motion on resolution 22-2020?
So
moved. This is Mike.
second,
Denise seconded. Are there any questions about the audit? As you know, the audit then will need to get filed with the authority's budget office and other entities, as well as posted on the website of the organization. I think we had a pretty good presentation by Donna Gonser. If there's no other questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The resolution is approved. Thank you.
thank you. Next, we have two consent agenda items. And first is approval of a Creighton Manning contract. The past several years, we've been working with Creighton Manning Engineering to design and construct our River Corridor and Washington Western BRT line. Staff recommends a sole source contract to Creighton Manning as we near completion of the two BRT projects. The committee discussed and recommends a sole source contract to Creighton Manning as our prime engineering firm to help finish up two BRT lines. We need a motion to award a 2-year contract with 3 one-year extensions to Creighton Manning Engineering of Albany for an amount not to exceed $8,250,000.
Can I get a motion on the resolution?
This is Dave, so moved.
Moved by David. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Denise. Again, any questions about retaining Creighton Manning?
I'll second.
I would just add, Jamie, this is Carm, I would just add that we had a long discussion about this work at the committee meeting. Creighton Manning has done extremely good work for us. And they've been with us for a number of years. They've become very expert, not only in the building of BRTs, but in the funding mechanism. And I'd say they go above and beyond what you would expect from a planning and engineering firm in that regard. So we're happy to continue that relationship, and we find it to be worthy of a sole source agreement.
Hey, Carm, just one other comment that Chris made during the committee meeting is that in working with Creighton Manning over the last contract, we've had the ability to learn from them and to bring some of the work in-house that we would have otherwise subbed out to an engineering firm. So that's another positive to this relationship, is that it's allowed us to save some money over time by bringing work in-house that we would have otherwise had them do.
Yep. Good point. It's sort of like when we stole the string exercise for planning way back when.
Yes.
What percentage of this contract will go to W and MBE firms? An $8.2 million services contract is a large amount. Just who's on the team and what does that look like?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Stacy's right there.
I'm here. Hi. It's the same subs that were there. Sawinski Sullivan is a WBE firm, and they are the primary sub on this. It's been about 25% of the value for the previous one. I don't see that changing too much over this one.
So they'll get 25% of that 8.25 million?
That would be, yes, that is correct.
And they're a W or an M?
They're a W.
Okay, what about the MBE? Do you know?
There aren't any MBEs on this particular contract that I'm aware of.
It wasn't required, or?
Well, this is a federally funded contract, so this follows DBE rules, not state rules. So we are more than meeting our 6%, or well, it's actually about 5.25% DBE participation through Sawinski Sullivan. The MBE content is kind of a bonus on this contract.
Okay. It'd be helpful to have that listed on the description in there.
I thought it
comes
was.
up again.
I think
Maybe I missed it.
it's usually at the back.
It
Go ahead, Stace.
It usually is because this one was a contract we previously awarded. We didn't do a contract award certification, but we can certainly make sure that's included in the action item for contracts like this, absolutely.
Okay, and so they're a WB and a DBE, so that's good.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, then I'll call the question. All those in favor of the resolution to retain Creighton Manning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's approved. Before we move on to the next item, I'll just ask if folks can mute their phones when they're not speaking. There's a little bit of feedback going on, so it'll make it a little easier to hear if everyone mutes when they're not talking. Thanks. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, thank you. The next item is approval of the Wilton Mall Park and Ride lease. Our park and ride lot lease at Wilton Mall is expiring, and staff recommends a new lease with additional parking spaces. The lot provides parking for NX customers who travel into Albany, and we anticipate further growth with our new OGS contract. Staff negotiated 35 more parking spaces for a total of 135. The payment is $12,800 per year with a 2.5% escalator after the first year. So we need a motion to award a 5-year contract to Wilton Mall LLC, care of Baserich of Santa Monica, California. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. We're in about not to exceed $67,300.
Can I get a motion on resolution 24-2020?
This is Dave, I'll move it.
Second?
This is Mike, I'll second.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments on this?
Just that, yeah, that's good news, that we're expanding a mature park and ride lot that's served by our NX Northway Express service, which we have, a lot of big plans for when we reemerge with our new universal access agreement involving state employees. So it's good to have more spaces, and it's good to be engaged with a firm that likes us being there.
Great.
No other questions or comments. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution is approved.
Okay, we had no investment committee report, and we had 2 administrative discussion items. First, the monthly management report. Mike Collins gave his monthly management report. The impact of COVID-19 for the month of April was unprecedented. Most of our financial categories were down. We may make budget revisions during the summer after we know how STOA allocations may change, or if they change, and how our service performs when we fully reopen. Revenue and expenses were both down by about 20%. And we will modify our financial reports to include a line for CARES Act funding. I don't know if Mike needs to add anything to that.
No, I don't have anything further for that. That pretty much sums it up, Denise.
Okay. So if there are no questions on that, the monthly non-financial performance report was also provided by Chris Desany. COVID-19 continues to have a significant impact to ridership. Total ridership was down 58% for the month. STAR was down 64% for the month. And on-time performance for fixed route was steady at 74%, while STAR on-time performance was at 82%. Preventable accidents down to 11, and non-preventable accidents down to 14. And Chris, I don't know if he's in the room, but if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think that covers it as well. I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay, So that concludes my report, and our next meeting will be on June 17th.
Thank you, Denise, for the report.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next one, the Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee. Jackie's not with us today, so we'll ask Pat Lance to make that report.
Okay, can everybody hear me? We good?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee met on May 21st, 2020 at 11:30 via Microsoft Teams, and the staff provided presentations and updates surrounding COVID-19 efforts. John Scherzer presented a plan to roll out season 4 of CDPAP cycle at the beginning of June. Bicycles will be rolled out in phases, giving customers the opportunity to use the program in a safe and efficient manner. To do this, we have revised the way we operate, maintain, and promote the program. Safety and sanitary measures will be in place to protect customers. Jamie Watson summarized the monthly community engagement report. There were 13 media stories on television, newspaper, and online. Stories were all related to our efforts in response to the COVID-19. Many of them highlighted the work being done by the operators and maintenance team out on the front lines. Jamie also discussed the updated communications plan to keep employees, customers, and the public informed about CDTA efforts surrounding COVID-19. Over the next few weeks, there will be updated messaging, corporate videos, commercials, and social media content to keep the public updated on CDTA services and its commitment to the community. That was it on that. The next meeting of this committee will be Thursday, June 25th of 2020 at 11:30 via Microsoft Teams. That's all I have.
Thank you, Pat.
Well,
The next committee report is the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee, and that would be Mike Rosado.
Thanks, Jamie. The Strategic and Operational Planning Committee met last Thursday at noon via Microsoft Teams. We had no consent agenda items. Our administrative discussion items were bus lane and mobility hub feasibility studies. Ross Farrell gave a presentation and facilitated discussion on mobility hub and dedicated bus lane studies, in which we will be participating. These types of projects take a comprehensive look at future big picture initiatives with focus given to improving access, integrating fixed route and mobility services, reducing travel time, and providing more efficient operations. All of these goals have shown up in various forms in our strategic planning discussion. Both projects seek to define what it is we are trying to accomplish, identifying locations for capital projects, and developing concepts and preliminary design. Mobility hubs typically exist in outdoor locations, have a much lower cost than transit centers, and can be deployed relatively quickly. This project is in partnership with CDTC and CalSTART and is funded by a $250,000 grant. We have already identified a demonstration station in Troy to accelerate the development of our first mobility hub. The bus lane feasibility study is funded by CDTC's work plan and seeks to identify potential locations based on ridership, decreases in travel time, roadway width, and number of routes affected. Buy-in from local municipalities and adjacent landowners will be critical. We had no executive session items. The next meeting of the committee will be Thursday, June 18th via Microsoft Teams. And if there are no further questions or comments, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody have any questions or comments about that report?
No.
Seeing none, we'll move right on to the CEO's report. Carm, it's your time.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, everybody. We, as I said in my report, have moved from on pause, which was never our term, but we paused, I guess, with the rest of the world, but we're moving to inaction. The region is beginning to reopen. We've seen a slight uptick in ridership. In fact, about 10 or 15% ridership increase in the last couple of weeks. And there just seems to be a return to normal activities, and we are ready to respond. But it goes without saying that everything revolves around the work that CDTA people are doing. They continue to be sort of the focus point. They come to work every single day. Our attendance is actually better now than it was before COVID. They're working in person and they're working remotely. The people who are working remotely are self-taught. We had no process or procedure, and we had no tutorial to give them. So it's an amazing effort. They're working safely and they're keeping our customers safe. They're keeping them secure. It's amazing to me that so few incidents that we report every day. And we're pleased to tell you that the ridership report that Chris gave you showed that we were operating at less than 40% of what normal was, and we're inching slowly but surely back to 50% of what normal is. And I guess you have to take small victories every day. Meanwhile, as Denise reported, we're moving from a condition of financial strength. I know that our April management report wasn't pretty to look at. It's probably the first and only time, I hope, that you'll see a report like that. We'll make some corrections in May. But we're solid and secure. It's certainly not clear sailing, but there's a foundation to build on. Had a long discussion about CARES, and several of you mentioned our federal funding, aka CARES. But we're making it clear that CARES is stopgap funding. We've already drawn $14 million against it, and we'll probably draw more shortly. But it's stopgap at best. And unless those conditions change on the revenue side, we anticipate being able to get through the summer, but no more. I think it's pretty clear from what Lisa Morello told us that the governor is waiting to see what happens at the federal level before enacting formalized cuts to state budget / state operations where we lie. We were due to get a STOA payment early in May, as we thought. That did not happen, and we don't know yet when that payment will be made, if it will be made, and if it will be made, will it be at 100%? So that sort of gives you a perspective on the importance of CARES funding. While we do that, we're shifting to reopening. We're developing a service plan that will get our trunk routes back to 100%. And frankly, they may have to go more, they may go to 110% or 115%. We need to provide, in some cases, more capacity, more frequency to meet the new expectations regarding what is a crowded bus. Gone are the days when you had people shoulder to shoulder. 15 to 20 is the new normal. Extensive changes are being made to our cleaning process, and we'll give you a report on that by next month's meetings. It will include cleaning and disinfecting, and it will be a systematic process. That will likely result in a headcount change, more heads, obviously, to do that work. We don't yet know that number, but we will be getting that number shortly. It'll probably be a combination of us and contractors doing that. We always had a cleaning program. I don't think we could have called it a disinfecting program, so we're working on that as we speak. And it'll go beyond our vehicles. It will go into our facilities and how they are cleaned. And by facilities, we mean our buildings here in Waterwood Avenue, Troy, but also our rail stations. There's a different expectation of us, and we're going to have to meet that expectation. So we'll have full reports on all of those sub-segments. At the same time, we continue to make extensive efforts to support our employees, frontline employees who are doing the job every day. The bus operator compartment will need to be reconfigured with barrier. That's in process. And providing protective equipment, not as an exception-based, but as a regular part of the workday. We also need to look at how fares are paid. We need to move even more to a cashless system. We very much want to open the front door from a lot of perspectives, not just fare payment. But all of these things need to be sequenced and done logically. We're also looking at how we communicate externally, how we use social media, ways to make social media even more friendly to us, to our customers, and to our employees. It's difficult to communicate with our employees, most of whom don't come to the home base, or if they come to home base, it's only to get the vehicle and move the vehicle out. So we need to improve our communication with employees and engage them, I think, in all forms of communication, whether it be social media or remote capabilities. It's good that we're able to move CDPHP cycle to a launch. We don't have an exact date, but probably mid-June to get that going. Hats off to John Scherzer and his crew, Lindsay Garney. They put together quite the program for cleaning and disinfecting, and at least putting people who use bikes at ease that this is a thoughtful process. Lastly, on the activities, the Wellness Center is 95% complete, and Mike and Amanda are in, I would call, final discussions with our partners at CDPHP to staff the center. It'll be particularly timely to open it during COVID-19. I would imagine it's a ready-made audience for the individual who will staff the center, but we're really pleased about that. It shows a sort of a thoughtful, innovative approach to employee well-being. So, lots of activity. There's not a shortage of things. I know, the meeting pages that I give you look a whole lot different. Like all of you, our business is virtual. I'm realizing that I'm not a virtual animal, so I'm a square peg in a round hole. But I've kind of shifted the focus of what I do to be almost 100% on the men and women who work here. So I want to thank bus operators, maintenance employees, supervisors, foremen, call center agents, support personnel, all the management staff, and all of you, every one of our board members. That team is making us go. That team is keeping us from missing a beat. And it's that team that keeps me firmly believing that CDT is going to be bigger and better. It may take us a little longer, but we're going to be bigger and better. So I am 100% optimistic. And my admiration for the CDTA team, just a remarkable job. We're not even missing a beat. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Carr. Anybody have any questions for Carr while we've got him?
No?
You
Dig
can
into
always
that
get me.
square peg round hole issue.
Yeah. My wife tells me that pretty much every day. She's so supportive. But she's usually right.
Any board members have any final closing comments or questions?
No?
I can tell you we miss seeing you. We're anxiously awaiting the, we're hearing that there'll be some new regulations regarding meetings and meeting size. And we certainly don't want to rush anyone back, but we miss seeing you and having face-to-face conversation.
Likewise.
Yes, likewise.
Yep.
Yep.
Agreed.
And we're gonna get Mike Rochelle, we're gonna loan him a computer so we can see his face.
That's all right, my camera card.
Thank you.
My computer keeps acting up today, my camera's frozen again.
We see you down there, Denise. Carm, thank you for everything you guys are doing down there too.
Yeah.
Keeping it going.
Yeah.
I know the employees, tough time, but I know everybody, appreciates it, you know, all you guys are doing down there, so
Thanks,
keep up
man.
the good work.
If there's no objection, then I'll adjourn the meeting now, and we'll be getting together sometime in June. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Thank you.